It's time for a look back at our top stories of the week. More than 100 residents of a New Orleans senior living facility were evacuated after an electrical fire knocked out the power in their building. Our Amelia Strahan has more on that evacuation that got them out safely.
The smoke alarm's going bomb, 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 bomb. And the guy in the elevator is going, let me out, banging on the door, let me out, let me out.
Lisa Walensky and dozens of other residents at Christopher Inn woke up to smoky halls and fire alarms Friday morning.
I hear a big boom, and it sounded like it came from the apartment upstairs. That's where my friend Beth lives. So I called Beth to make sure she's okay.
Beth was fine. She and many others assumed it was a false alarm.
Our smoke alarms are very sensitive, and generally when it goes off, it's somebody that has been cooking and they burned something.
But as New Orleans Fire Department arrived at the senior living facility around 8:30, she knew she needed to get out.
I kind of freaked out a little bit and said, oh, I think there was a fire.
Once officers determined the fire was coming from the electrical room, they were able to put out the flames in minutes. But by the time the flames were out, so was the power. By Friday afternoon, the New Orleans Health Department, the Office of Emergency and Preparedness, and the Red Cross began to move residents out of the building.
They can't stay here tonight or several nights. So now we're working and assisting with feeding and helping with sheltering.
144 people were evacuated, and the RTA says they transported about 50 to the Quality Inn in New Orleans East.
It's an inconvenience because I only had like so long to pack and I can't walk from room to room. And I'm in the middle of pulling everything out of my closets and stuff. I don't have anything together.
Residents aren't sure exactly how long the repairs will take, but they hope to ring in the new year at home.
I got everything I need. I have my cat.
We'll start fresh and have a great year.
In New Orleans, Amelia Strahan, WWL, Louisiana.
On Christmas Day, a teenage girl reported missing in Tennessee was found in a tent in the woods in Tangipahoa Parish. A man told detectives he left her there after the two had met up for sex. Rachel Hanley takes us through how she was found.
Brandon Bill was taking down Christmas lights when 4 police cars stopped on East Charbonnet Road. They went into the woods and came out with a 14-year-old girl.
She just had her head down, you know. I didn't really get to look at her face. You know, she had looked like she had pajamas on.
Investigators say 28-year-old Alexander Matern had left her there, inside this tent.
We see these cases all across the country, and a lot of times they end with the deceased.
Friday, Tangipahoa Parish Sheriff Gerald Stickers said the girl met Matern online through a video game. They decided he'd pick her up from her home in Tennessee 2 days before Christmas. He took her back to where he lived in St. Rose. Then Matern told investigators the two had sex. He said it wasn't until after that she told him she was 14.
Louisiana, lack of knowledge of your victim's age is not a defense.
Sheriff Stickers says after the girl's parents realized she was missing, they checked her computer. They found Matern's name and a connection to the city of Jennings in Jefferson Davis Parish. They contacted police there.
Jennings Police Department went to an address, and as fate would have it, Mr. Matern answered the door for them.
Matern had been celebrating Christmas with his family. Detectives asked him where the girl was, and they say he led them more than 100 miles away to the spot in rural Tangipahoa Parish. This is the tent that the girl was found in on Christmas Day. To give you an idea of how far out in the woods it is, you can't see the tent from the road, but you can see the road from the tent. Inside, there are empty food cans, bottles of water, and a sleeping bag. Outside, lots of mosquitoes and worse.
Well, we see some coyotes here. They got bobcats, cougars.
Upon interviewing him, asking him why he chose that location, no rhyme or reason.
Thankfully, the girl wasn't hurt. Sheriff Sticker urged all parents to pay attention to cases like these.
Be in your kids' business. Be aware of what they're doing online. Following up on them, and never, ever say, not my child, because I'm sure these parents had thought the same thing.
Bill himself has a 14-year-old daughter. She was on his mind as he found out what had happened across the street from his house.
If it was one of my kids, I'd definitely be worried, you know. I'm just glad they found her, and she's fine.
Rachel Handley, WWL, Louisiana.